The following is a HennessyHendo production. It includes excerpts and material from my vast collection of books and general knowledge. My collection spans many centuries and millennia. I upload as I have time, but the sheer volume is just so immense. It would do the people of the world good to listen to some actual classics or educate themselves on all manner of topics from fictional books to philosophy. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel.
Operation Mockingbird refers to a covert program orchestrated by the United States Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, during the Cold War, purportedly aimed at influencing and controlling domestic and international media outlets. Though the full extent of the program remains a subject of debate and speculation, various declassified documents, testimonies, and investigative reports provide a foundation for understanding its objectives, methods, and implications. Overview of Operation Mockingbird. Purpose: to manipulate news media to disseminate propaganda, shape public opinion, and counter the spread of communism during the Cold War. The operation aimed to control narratives both within the U.S. and abroad. Time period: believed to have begun in the late 1940s and gained momentum through the 1950s and 1960s, peaking during the Cold War. Key elements: recruitment and collaboration. The CIA reportedly recruited journalists, editors, publishers, and media executives from major news outlets, such as the New York Times, Washington Post, Time Magazine, CBS, and others. Journalists were enlisted as informants, assets, or outright propagandists, receiving financial compensation or other forms of support. Media organizations were used to plant stories favorable to U.S. foreign policy interests, discredit adversaries, and suppress dissenting viewpoints. Methods: dissemination of propaganda. The CIA placed articles, editorials, and broadcast material in newspapers, magazines, and radio programs to influence public perception. Stories were often framed to portray the U.S. positively while vilifying its geopolitical adversaries, particularly the Soviet Union. Use of covert media assets. The agency maintained a network of journalists who provided intelligence and agreed to publish material crafted or approved by the CIA. In some cases, journalists traveled to sensitive regions under CIA direction, gathering information or distributing propaganda. International media influence. In addition to domestic operations, the CIA exerted influence over foreign media outlets to sway public opinion in key regions, including Europe, Asia, and Latin America. Countering dissent. Critics of U.S. policies, anti-war movements, and leftist ideologies were often targeted through smear campaigns and disinformation. Key figures and revelations. Frank Wisner, a senior CIA official during the early years of the agency, Wisner is often cited as the architect of Operation Mockingbird. Cord Meyer and Alan Dulles, prominent CIA leaders who played roles in the program's expansion. Carl Bernstein's 1977 expose, The Journalist, of Watergate fame, wrote a groundbreaking article for Rolling Stone titled The CIA and the Media, which revealed extensive CIA connections to major media organizations. Church Committee, 1975, a U.S. Senate investigation into intelligence abuses that uncovered CIA operations involving the media. While Operation Mockingbird was not named explicitly, the committee confirmed media manipulation as a key CIA tactic. Impact and legacy. Public trust in media. Revelations about Operation Mockingbird significantly eroded trust in media institutions, fostering skepticism about their independence. It highlighted the potential dangers of state interference in journalism and the ethical challenges faced by media professionals. CIA reforms. Following the Church Committee's findings, the CIA publicly claimed to have ended the practice of recruiting journalists or influencing the press. However, some critics argue that similar activities may continue under different guises. Cultural and historical context. The operation reflects broader Cold War dynamics, where information and propaganda were key weapons in the ideological battle between the U.S. and the Soviet Union. It is frequently cited as an example of government overreach and a violation of democratic principles. Controversy and speculation. While some aspects of Operation Mockingbird have been substantiated through declassified documents and investigations, many details remain shrouded in secrecy or dispute. Extent of influence, the scale of the program, and the number of journalists involved remain debated. Continuation of practices. Critics argue that similar operations may persist today, albeit under more sophisticated frameworks, such as collaborations with private contractors or social media platforms. Key takeaways. Operation Mockingbird underscores the complex interplay between intelligence agencies, the media, and public perception. It serves as a cautionary tale about the potential misuse of power in democratic societies and the importance of safeguarding press freedom and transparency. The document linked on the CIA's reading room discusses Project Mockingbird, a covert program from the early Cold War era. The key aspects include surveillance of journalists. It describes efforts to surveil specific journalists suspected of leaking sensitive information or engaging in activities potentially harmful to national security. Media manipulation. The document highlights the CIA's relationships with media personnel and organizations, leveraging these connections to influence public opinion and disseminate propaganda aligned with U.S. foreign policy goals. Intelligence operations details the use of journalists to gather intelligence, as well as the broader strategy to counter foreign propaganda and perceived threats to national security. There is no definitive evidence to confirm that Project Mockingbird, as it was understood during the Cold War, is still operational today. The CIA has publicly claimed to have ceased such activities following scrutiny from the Church Committee investigations in the 1970s, which exposed the agency's manipulation of the press and unethical practices. Reasons for uncertainty. Official statements. After the Church Committee hearings, the CIA assured the public that it had ended relationships with journalists and media organizations for the purpose of propaganda or influencing the press. Modern techniques. While the exact activities of Project Mockingbird may no longer be ongoing, some critics argue that intelligence agencies today use more subtle and modern tools to influence narratives. This might include leveraging social media, online platforms, and partnerships with private contractors or think tanks. Media relationships. Skeptics and whistleblowers often point to instances where government narratives appear to dominate media coverage, raising suspicions of indirect influence. However, there is no solid evidence to suggest a centralized operation like Mockingbird exists today. Public trust and perception. The program left a lasting legacy of skepticism about the independence of the press and potential government overreach, which fuels speculation about similar practices continuing under new frameworks. Modern information warfare. Instead of direct control over media organizations, intelligence agencies today are more likely to engage in information warfare, using social media, disinformation campaigns, or strategic partnerships to shape public opinion. These efforts are often conducted to counter foreign influence or maintain national security, but remain controversial when they intersect with press freedom. In summary, while the original Project Mockingbird may no longer be active, concerns about government influence over media persist in new forms. Transparent oversight and free press are essential to prevent the recurrence of such practices. Historical context. The document is rooted in Cold War dynamics, where controlling narratives and countering adversarial ideologies like communism were seen as essential. The document serves as a critical historical reference for understanding how intelligence agencies interacted with the media and raises questions about ethics, press freedom, and government overreach.
Thank you for watching. Share the video. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Check out other series including 10-minute synopses or complete audiobooks on HennessyHendo on YouTube. Literally check out my library. Become a literary master like Hendo. Share the wealth. Spread the good word.